So I have this Ziploc bag. This is kind of gross. So the last video on my channel was my 6-month microloc update, which is where I showed how my previous set of Locs were doing. If you want to see what my last set looked like, please check out that video. You'll see that it's much different from what I currently have in my head right now. So clearly a lot has changed since that last video. I've combed out that last set of microlocs and I've installed new ones. So I installed these myself. Unfortunately, I don't have a video of me installing this new set because it was a very stressful process. Actually, I was combing out that old set and then I was kind of following behind installing the new set, which is not really the smartest thing to do, but I really just wanted to have it all done around the same time. So as I was combing out the last set, I was following behind installing this new set. So just a really quick background. I combed out my last set of microlocs at the 7-month mark. Now you're probably wondering, why would you comb out your locks at the 7-month mark? Your locks are barely mature. They probably still look like twists, right? Yeah, wrong. So at the 7-month mark, my locks, I mean, they were looking pretty well locked. I'll actually put in a video, or not a video, I'll actually put a picture of what my locks looked like at the 7-month point. But ultimately, I decided to comb out that set for several reasons. One thing is, like, if you were just looking at my locks from the outside, I mean, they looked really good. They looked pretty, pretty well locked at the 7-month mark. So on the outside, they kind of looked good. But if you had looked closely at my locks, like if you had looked at the individual strands, you would have seen that there was a couple of strange things going on. And all of that was due to just me not taking proper care of my hair and making a ton of mistakes. I think I'll actually be putting out a video of some of the lock mistakes that I made with my first set that I will not be making with this current set that I have in. Anyways, one of those mistakes that I made was doing all sorts of things that contributed to my hair bunching. And so at that point in time, if you had looked at my hair, you would have seen that each individual lock was, I don't want to say bumpy because I guess bumpy is normal, but each individual lock that was, already well locked was very, let's just say they were bumpy. They were different sizes along one strand. Now, I'm okay with different sizes of locks all over my head. I'm just not as okay with different sizes along each strand. And so yeah, there were a lot of bunches throughout my head. I tried to smooth some of it out, but I think I just knew deep down that it was not gonna smooth out. I did some research and I stalked a ton of online forums, and pretty much what I gathered was, like, even if I palm rolled my hair or continued to palm roll it, because I was already trying to palm roll it to smooth it out, but no matter how much I palm rolled it, I just was not gonna get it to what I needed it to be. So there was a very high chance that my locks were gonna stay that way, and I knew I would not be happy with it. So rather than waiting, 2-3 years down the line to comb them out, I just decided, well, they're still a little easier to comb now. Easier because it was not easy, but they're still a little easier to comb now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take it out. The other thing is, when I initially installed my locks, I wanted a certain size. Now, I didn't want them as small as they currently are, but I wanted them small. One thing that I didn't account for was just how much they were gonna swell. And so my locks swelled to about, I wanna say 3 to 4 times their initial installation size. In hindsight, I should have kind of expected them to swell that much. But I feel like my hair swelled a little more than everybody else's hair that I'd seen online. I don't know, maybe it's just in my head, but I feel like it swelled a lot. And yes, although my size was fine, because if you go back to that my last 6-month update video, you'll see that it looked good, but I knew that I wanted to go smaller. So I knew that my next set would have to be much smaller than that previous one, just to account for the extra swelling. And I'll be honest, I really, really like the look of locks that look like your regular natural hair. I think there's just a different kind of versatility that you get with having really tiny locks versus having bigger locks. Now, I'm not saying you can't style bigger locks in a variety of ways. You absolutely can, but I just really like the looks of really tiny locks. And I don't think I realized this until I started combing out my last set of locks, and so that was kind of what pushed me to just make the decision to make them much smaller. Yeah, the full process of combing out and installing the new set behind the old set took about 4 months. Usually I would think for the average person it shouldn't take that long, especially since I didn't have that many locks. But I think part of why it took me so long was, I was combing out the last set, I was installing the new ones, and I didn't just like sit down for like a week to comb out the locks. Like, I was working and I was going to school, so I would only comb out my hair like 1 hour here, 2 hours there, just whenever I had the time to comb them out. So what I did was I started from the middle section of my hair, just because it's much easier to hide the middle with using like the front and the back. So I started from the middle, I went to the front of my head, and then I finished in the back. And so you'll see that my hair is different sizes. The middle is slightly bigger, and then the front and the back are a little smaller. One thing I will say though is I lost a lot of hair. I lost a lot of hair. And I lost my edges. Now, if you comb out your hair right, you should not lose your edges. You'll lose a lot of hair because, your hair is locking, it's shedding hair, and all of that shed hair is getting trapped in the lock. I got kind of impatient. When I reached the front, I was just kind of over it. I wanted it to be done, and so I just started yanking it out. I don't recommend that because now I don't have any edges. Now, I'm not too worried about my edges. I know they'll grow back, and if they don't, then oh well. I'm just gonna kind of leave them alone and let them do their thing. Again, the good thing is I can kind of hide my edges. If I keep my hair styled this way, I kind of just hide my edges. The only time it might look a little rough is if I do any styles that require me to have my hair back this way. But not a big deal. Not having edges is not the end of the world, and hopefully they'll grow back. And if they don't, then what can I do? Oh, before I forget, let me show you how much hair I lost. So I have this Ziploc bag of how much hair I lost. This is kind of gross, but it's okay. I kept it so I can show y'all how much hair. This isn't even all the hair that I lost. At some point, I just kind of got tired of keeping track. I think I would say towards the end, I got tired of keeping track, so I was just kind of like, whatever hair fell out, I just threw it in the trash. So it's a lot of hair. Probably half of this is my edges. I'm just kidding, but this is a lot of hair to lose for only being locked for 7 months. And I think people have this idea that at 7 months your hair is still, which for a lot of people at 7 months, if you have looser natural hair, at 7 months your hair is not locked as well. But if you have 4C hair, your hair was made to lock. Your hair will look pretty well locked. Well, it depends on the person. But I have 4C hair, so my hair locked a lot faster. And I always had my hair in water, so I think that really helped. But that made my life a lot harder because combing out each singular lock took me like 45 minutes, and so to do my whole head, it just took forever. All right, before we get into the visuals, to find out more about what happened to my last set of locks, I'll be putting out another video where I talk about some of the mistakes I made with that last set. So please check that out. Thank you so much for watching. So yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye. Yeah. No.